Frank Thorne is a British tabloid journalist based here in Australia, and he joins me now. And there you go.
I thought
you had to rip out the tie, didn't you? Now, Australia's a pretty good place for a British journalist to be working, but on a day like today, I'm guessing you're wishing you were back in London.
Yeah, it's going to be a party bigger than the Olympic Games at the moment. The streets will be awash with champagne and street parties. It'd just be brilliant to be there.
What do you make of the reaction here in Australia so far?
Well, I think the feeding frenzy will all centre around the women's magazines. Will be going into a meltdown. And of course, they've got to wait for the vital front page cover picture, haven't they?
Yeah.
Say another 12 hours or so.
Yeah. You reckon that'll happen on the first day?
I think tonight, our time,
she'll leave the hospital.
We'll see them leave the hospital. She's a fit young woman. She doesn't need to stay in hospital for days on end.
They were pretty effective in terms of getting into the hospital without any of the media seeing them, though.
Well, one photographer, we're told, got the money shot. So,
jeez, how much would that shot be worth?
A couple of $100,000, I would think. Yeah, it's the only picture.
Have you seen that yet?
No, I haven't. But, there'll be a bidding war for that, for sure.
All right. And can you fill us in on any more detail about how good the shot is? Have you heard
it's obviously an agency shot, so it'd be well under wraps until it's sold.
A shadow behind.
We'll see it in Australia, though.
Yeah. Yeah, geez, and I'm guessing the bidding war I guess there are bidding wars in different countries.
There will be around the world.
So when you say it'll be worth a couple of 100,000, is that in London alone, or sorry, in the UK alone, or is that around the world?
I just think in England alone, and then there'll be residual rights, syndication rights, because whoever buys it in England want to get some of their money back on syndication.
And geez, they're in right place at the right time.
Absolutely, the side door.
But presumably there would have been hundreds of cameramen and
but I've been in
operators.
situations like that in London, and these photographers, they won't leave each other's side. So if they're out the front, they'll all be out the front, and it's the brave guy that breaks away and goes around the back that gets it, you know.
But you'd have, in that kind of operation, you'd have a couple of people, wouldn't you?
Right,
like five snappers around the building.
Yeah, it's just a matter of luck, isn't it?
Yeah, and so how soon do you reckon until we see that photo? Like, that'll be out within 24 hours?
Yeah, should see that now, sort of in the editions coming out in London, I would have thought.
Yeah. And so in terms of the media reaction this morning, the amount of coverage on the TV channels, what have you made of that?
Well, there's been nothing like it. Even during the Diana days, there weren't that many photographers. Now every man and his dog is a freelance journalist photographer. Digital photography has just made everybody a professional photographer, so-called. So the worldwide interest in the former Kate Middleton is just huge, bigger than Diana.
Were you working in the UK during the Diana years?
I was, yeah, and I covered the actual honeymoon in Gibraltar, and Charles flew the aircraft down on his honeymoon, and he had to. There was a big controversy because he couldn't fly over Spanish airspace at the time because there was a dispute over the sovereignty of Gibraltar. It was a military British airbase, so he had to go via Morocco, which made it a bit of a torturous journey. But they landed and had a ticker-tape parade through the streets in an open-top sports car in Gib. It was magnificent, and they were piped aboard the Royal Yacht.
And so how did that work for you when you were trying to get shots of them during the honeymoon?
Well, we could never find the yacht, even though it was
You're not much of a snapper, are you?
Yeah, it's a massive thing, but I will never forget that I was working for a Sunday paper then, and a Royal Equerry told me that on the dockside that this was very special. They changed the rules because the Queen and the Queen Mother were only piped aboard, and the yacht was dressed with all the guys in white piping this royal couple aboard their honeymoon. And so I filed what I thought was a very clever headline that Britannia waived the rules for this royal couple.
Okay.
They thought I was drunk and changed it back to Britannia waived rules are waived.
So it never went to print. Travesty. And what about the way things have changed since then? You were part of the tabloid troupe back then, trying to get the story.
Yeah.
How do you think it will have changed now with Catherine Middleton?
Well, the situation with the Diana years in the honeymoon period anyway, before William was born, was that there was only a handful of photographers.
Right.
You might have 2 agencies, Associated Press, Press Association, Reuters. That would be it. There wouldn't be 20 or 40 or 50 paparazzi following the royals and intruding. Then you got the hiatus of too much intrusion, and then the press being blamed for.
So did it start kind of getting bad in the mid-90s?
Yes, and culminating in the death of Diana, when the press were initially blamed, and then it was found. So that wasn't the case. So now they'll pare that back slightly, because they've got all sorts of agreements in place not to be intrusive on the royals. But that's the British press. The foreign press has still got open slather.
Yeah, and as you say, there are so many more players now.
Absolutely, everybody with an iPhone is a paparazzi.
Yeah. So you're happy you're in Australia rather than the UK?
No, I want to be at the party. The Brits are good at throwing parties. Yeah. We'll have one for the Ashes soon, don't worry.
Get out of here. Okay, Frank Thorne, thanks so much for coming in. And you're going down in the Ashes. Cheers.